Great, man. Well, as usual, we're discussing health from a natural and integrated perspective. Let me say a pleasant good afternoon to the listeners of Freedom 106.5 FM. Always a pleasure to be your company. Dr. Jason Batson, the Senior Medical Director at Batson and Associates. So, of course, we're discussing health today. Of course, your questions are always welcome. It is an open forum. Today, we're actually going to be discussing insomnia. We're going to be discussing insomnia and anxiety. So, what we're going to discuss basically is what causes insomnia. How do you know you have insomnia? How do you also know you suffer from anxiety? And of course, what do you do from a dietary perspective, from a lifestyle perspective, and of course, from a natural and integrated perspective, which is what we offer at Batson Associates to deal with those issues. So when we speak about insomnia, we're talking about sleep, right? So insomnia is basically defined as the inability to fall asleep, remain asleep, and also in terms of the quality of sleep that you get. Because you see, the thing is, a lot of us doesn't have any problems falling asleep, but we may have problems remaining asleep. So we don't really sleep throughout the night. Sometimes you get up to use the washroom, and you use the washroom, and then you can't fall back to sleep. Some persons actually have problems falling and remaining asleep. And most importantly, some people sleep, but the quality of sleep that they get is questionable in the sense that you're always tired. You feel as if it is you now want resting. You may have slept 8 hours, but you're just not feeling. Your body is not being rejuvenated. You're not feeling energized. Why is that happening? That's what we're going to discuss today. And of course, anxiety. What really is anxiety? Most people would define anxiety or in a situation where your vitals, primarily your pulse, usually increases. So you would realize that your heart started to beat very quickly. You may start to sweat. You might have a situation of nervousness. Some instance where you feel sort of frantic, and that usually carries the connotation of anxiety. But who really suffers from anxiety? Is there any supplemental dietary aspects that you could actually change or make adjustment to that could actually help you to improve uh, anxiety? So those are some of the questions that we'll be dealing with today. Let me say, of course, a pleasant good afternoon to our social media followers. We are live on our social media platforms. We are Batson and Associates Limited on Facebook. On Instagram, we are Batson and Associates TT. On YouTube, we are Batson and Associates Trinidad. And on Instagram, not Instagram, sorry, TikTok, it's Dr. Batson. Keep in mind our location and telephone number. Head office is Shogunas. That's the first floor of Money Talks building in Montrose, Shogunas. And that telephone number for Shogunas is 222-8261. Again, that's 222-8261. And that office is located on the first floor of Money Talks building. That is Money Talks building in Montrose, Shogunas. So, insomnia. Of course, third base, you could always remind them of the telephone contact, WhatsApp, whatever the case may be, so that they could contact us in studio if they may have any questions. You could just give them a reminder, please.
All right, the numbers, of course, are 627-3223, 625-2257, and 3061065. That's all WhatsApp numbers.
Okay, great. So when we're speaking about insomnia, we're talking about the inability to fall asleep, as I said, remain asleep. And that has a lot to do with your central nervous system, because central nervous system is the organ system that is responsible for regulating and maintaining sleep. However, what a lot of persons are not aware of is that your organs of elimination also play a significant role in sleep. Now, you might find that weird, right? What does my colon have to do with me sleeping? So I'll explain. The thing is, you have 7 channels of elimination in the human body, right? Kidney, colon, bloodstream, liver, lymphatic system, skin, and your lungs. Now, the reason we sleep, or the purpose of sleep, is to basically rejuvenate neurotransmitters in the body. What are neurotransmitters? Neuro, meaning nerve or brain, and transmitters, messengers. So primarily neurological messengers in the brain is what, or the main purpose while we sleep. So we're just speaking about things like in melatonin, those type of things. Now, the thing is, if you do not have sufficient neurotransmitters, you will have a problem sleeping. And the thing is, so imagine what you're trying to do is like you're trying to build a house, but without material. You don't have any steel, you don't have any bricks, you don't have any cement, whatever the case may be. So obviously, you can't build a house. Now, the thing is, when you're dealing with someone who has an issue with sleep, even persons who may have worked shift, because if you're a shift worker, you usually find that your sleep tends to, it goes off a bit, especially if you're accustomed working shift where you would work within the early morning period, speaking like from 12 to like all 6 a.m. If you miss that sleep, because there are some persons who work in the evening, but they would get sleep within early morning. So they will get sleep like from around 1 or 2 to till about 6. They're still in a better place because you get some opportunity to rejuvenate your neurotransmitters and that type of thing. So the thing is, if you're not satisfied with your quality of sleep, if it is you have problems sleeping to the point where you're actually dependent on medication, well then, it's really serious. But as I said, the main reason why we sleep, or the reason why you should sleep, is to rejuvenate neurotransmitters. So if you have a problem sleeping, it means that your body is not rejuvenating neurotransmitters and you don't have sufficient neurotransmitters, i.e. epinephrine, norepinephrine, serotonin, melatonin. There are numerous, but those are the most important things. Or those are the most important ones, rather. So the thing is, your gastrointestinal health is very important to that, because if you have gastrointestinal imbalances, so you have problems with pathogens, bacteria, virus, fungus, protozoa, those pathogens actually can affect your nerves, because what they actually produce is neurotoxins, which is toxins for your nerves. So the same nerves that you require to think, proper sleep, different central nervous system functions is now affected because of these neurotoxins that is produced by these pathogens, whether it's bacteria, virus, fungus in your body. So when you think you have a sleep problem, you really don't have a sleep problem per se, but you have to deal with the root cause of the problem, which in this particular case is gastrointestinal or liver, because your liver actually plays a significant role in terms of sleep, because your liver converts protein to amino acids to protein. What are amino acids? Amino acids are the building block of proteins. You have how much? Just over 20 something, I think 22 or something off the top of my head. So you have things like L-arginine, L-citrulline, and the list goes on and on. The thing is, with those are produced in the liver, because the liver actually converts protein to amino acid to protein. So in other words, if you do not have sufficient amino acids, you cannot have proper neurotransmitters. So that is where at Batson Associates, one of the things we do is something known as live nutritional blood cell analysis. What does that involve? So of course, we take in capillary blood, which is blood from your finger, and examine it under a high-powered microscope. Now, why is that important? Blood is the greatest witness. It's going to tell past, present, and future. But what blood is also going to tell us is how well you digest protein. I'll say it again. How well do you digest protein? Do you know that most people don't digest protein properly? Yeah, most people don't. And that's why muscular atrophy, which is, so as you start to get older, you realize that your muscles start to get very soft. Ladies, some people men and all complain on their arm by by your tricep. They could actually touch it and you see it, find that it's shaking. And you usually find that happens to persons as they tend to get older. And that's because our body doesn't synthesize protein as it used to when you was like about 20, 25 years. As you start to get older, when you cross the age of 20, 25, your body metabolizes protein differently, more slowly, and digestion of protein is something that is very important, because if you have an issue with digesting protein, for example, you could end up with problems with your kidney. It also points to malabsorption, where you may have issues with leaky gut, which is when you have hole in your intestines, that could cause serious gastrointestinal problems. So things like Crohn's, irritable bowel syndrome, and the list goes on and on. So all of that is to say that if it is you have a problem with sleep, it's really not sleep, but the other organ systems that are the foundation: gastrointestinal, liver, kidney. How are these organs functioning? Digestion. So that is going to give us an idea as to how we correct your issue with insomnia. So you can feel free to give us a call or message. That WhatsApp number for Shagonas is 314. That's 314-9975. Again, that's 314-9975. The office at Shogunas, that office is located on the first floor of Money Talks building in Montrose, Shogunas. We also have an office in Debe. Debe is the corner of Ramsey Trace and the SS Erie Main Road in Debe. And again, keep in mind that we are live on our social media platforms. You can like us, follow us, and share us. We are Batson and Associates Limited on Facebook. And of course, there's a lot of content there, a lot of previous programs where we would have had discussions, testimonies, various information on the products and services of Batson and Associates. So for Facebook, it's Batson and Associates Limited. For Instagram, it's Batson and Associates TT. For YouTube, it's Batson and Associates Trinidad. And TikTok, it's Dr. Batson. Let me say a pleasant good afternoon to Miss Kathleen Ishmael, Miss Dulcita Roberts, Miss Nicola Hood. She's actually joining us from Antigua and Bermuda. A pleasant good afternoon to you. And of course, everyone on our Instagram, it's Batson and Associates TT. And of course, we go over to third base to see if he has any questions for us.
Yes, questions. Does the food you eat, could the food you eat affect your sleep, especially at night?
Yeah, definitely. But the thing is, we know you shouldn't eat very high amounts of volumes of food very late in the night. And the reason for that is not that you shouldn't eat at night, because let's say if you're someone who is very athletic, you run ball, you play football, you play sports, you do some level of strength training, that type of thing, then your metabolism is going to be higher. Your body primarily requires in any meal that you have protein, some balance of protein and carbohydrates. So the point I'm making is that if you're eating in the night where you have no choice, because a lot of times you have no choice, you might reach home late, you might be working shift. So it's not necessarily the time you're eating per se, but what you're eating. So make sure if it is you have no other choice in the matter, that your meal in the night should have more protein, complex carbohydrates, but very small amounts, but more protein in the diet. That is what you should eat if it is you're left with no choice in the matter. Because we got to be practical in eating it. As some persons, you work in shift, you might work whole day, whatever the case may be. What you do not do is come home and eat high amounts of carbohydrates, especially simple carbohydrates. So we're speaking about things like potato, and not sweet potato, but the white one, English potato, right? Not English potato. You're not going to interfere with rice. You would have to do more things like maybe a piece of grilled salmon or some sort of fish, chicken breast, with some sort of salad or some, if you're doing maybe a 1 or 2 piece of provision. But you have to mix it, and the protein content has to be higher. Apart from that, you do not want to be eating large meals at night because you do not sleep. What your body has to do is focus on digesting the food. And we know digestion actually utilizes the most amount of energy in the body. That's what digestion does. The most amount of energy in the body is as regards to digestion. Very important. So if it is, you can come home and not necessarily eat at night. You just drink a hot cup of tea or something like that, then do that. If you're left with no choice in the matter, make sure your meal is a high protein, low carbohydrate meal. You're not supposed to use high carbohydrates at night unless you're somebody who may be bodybuilding or you're doing weight training. You live a very active lifestyle. And as a result of that, you have a higher metabolism than most persons. That is where it becomes a bit, tricky there. We do diets and weight loss at Batson Associates. In fact, from next month, please God, we'll actually be launching our weight loss program, which is a new program that we have developed. For hard people who have problems losing weight, especially women, because women tend to be plagued by a lot of hormonal imbalance issues, a lot of hormonal imbalance problems. And as a result of that, you find that find it very difficult to lose weight. So that is something you could also get some information on, some advice. Look out for that Santulan product that we carry, which is a 7-channel detox. It cleans and detoxifies kidney, colon, bloodstream, liver, lymphatic system, skin, and your lungs. Easy cleanse to use. It's basically tea. So you're making tea. So it's liquid cleanse. So it's not any sort of tablets. Those of you who don't like swallowing stuff, and I know a lot of people have issues with those. That is why that product actually came about. And it's very easy to use. The taste is not bad either. And it is something that offers you the opportunity to take a detox. Kidney, colon, bloodstream, liver, lymphatic system, skin, and your lungs. And you could actually do it conveniently while you work and not have any problems with the washroom, because you'll use the washroom either late in the night or early in the morning. where when you're in the comfort of your own home. You don't have to worry about running for a washroom outside or something like that. So that number again, and for information, you could give us a call on 222-8261. That Shagwana's number is 222-8261. Debe is the corner of Ramsey Trace and the SS Erie Main Road in Debe. That telephone number is 223-7515. That's 223-7515. So this.
My question here. Yeah,
Yes,
there's
sir.
some people who go to bed as early as 7 o'clock in the evening. Is this natural?
The thing is, that's a good question, you could go to bed anytime, The thing is, you find that as people get older, you find that they require less amount of sleep, as ridiculous as that might sound. And studies have shown that there are persons, for example, when you reach like 60, 65, you could sleep 4 hours and you're quite good with your 4 hours. Right. And they explain that could be caused by a number of things, because of just simply age and change in hormones and a number of things that change as we age. You don't require the same amount of sleep, but everybody is different because there are some persons who are much older who would sleep for like 8 hours, even 10 hours. The thing is, people would sleep based on their requirements. So some persons could go to sleep 7 o'clock and they could sleep till 7 till about 7 the next morning. That's 12 hours. And some persons could go to sleep 10 and they just need like about 6 hours sleep. So you would have to know yourself. There's a product we carry at Batson Associates called Nerve Restore. And that product was specifically designed for sleep. It is primarily an adaptogen, which means it has the ability to adapt to different aspects of the body, especially the central nervous system. And what it does is actually regulates what is known as your autonomic nervous system. Your autonomic nervous system is made up of two parts, which is a sympathetic and parasympathetic, which is flight and flight. So what that really does is actually helps with the neurotransmitters. So what it does is improve the quality of sleep that you get. So it means you could sleep shorter periods of time. So you could sleep for 3 hours and actually feel as if you slept for 8 based on the quality of sleep that you get. Because when we sleep, we cycle in our sleeps. We go into two types of sleep. You have REM, which is rapid eye movement, and then you have non-REM, which is non-rapid eye movement sleep. REM sleep is deep sleep. So you usually cycle an hour and a half in, an hour and a half out. I mean, some people tend to be a little different depending, but generally that is what you get. So what Nerve Restore does is actually regulates the inflammation in the body. It also regulates cortisol levels. Cortisol is a stress hormone. If you have very high levels of cortisol, it makes it very difficult for you to sleep because cortisol, that stress hormone, shows off your entire organ systems. It shows off your endocrine system, your gastrointestinal system, musculoskeletal, central nervous system. So that is something that you need to pay very, very close attention to. Check out the Nerve Restore. There's also a product we carry called Optimizer. Optimizer is primarily to improve blood circulation in the brain because you find a lot of persons who have problems with glaucoma, even persons who have anxiety. That's one of the things that the Nerve Restore helps with as well. Because if you understand what anxiety is a central nervous system problem. Again, and if you have, usually anxiety, depression, insomnia tends to go hand in hand because they affect each other. And once your nerves are shot, as we call it, medically, which means that your nerves have been compromised, then you find that you get anxiety, depression. You could even be diagnosed with things like bipolar, and you're not really bipolar. What you really have is a nervous breakdown you get. Because the thing is, if you get a nervous breakdown, anything could happen. You could be diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder, which is OCD. You could be diagnosed with bipolar, schizophrenia, depression, anxiety. Because once your nerves are compromised, anything could happen to you. Anything could happen. And that is where the advantage with natural and integrated medicine comes in, because it's not necessarily giving you a plaster for a sore, but really correcting the root cause of the problem, which is going to also include changing your diet, which is something that a lot of people do here. So if you have insomnia problems, one of the things that you need to watch and be careful with is sugar, because sugar plays a significant role in interfering with and compromising the central nervous system. So it's very important to pay close attention to that. Any more questions, sir?
Interesting. Well, I know you're talking about anxiety. It's like anxiety and panic attacks. Are those all the same?
Basically, good, excellent question. Yeah, that's actually in some yes and no. So you can have anxiety issues and not get a panic attack. So, but you can have anxiety and get panic attacks. So they're not necessarily the how to put it, boy, it is not necessarily what's the word I'm using for, boy, maybe interchangeable. So so you can be suffering from anxiety but not get a panic attack, but you could also have anxiety and get panic attacks. So panic attacks are basically the physical manifestation of an anxiety attack, because you can have anxiety attacks that are basically like silence, in the sense that they're not as observable as somebody who has a panic attack where they're actually sweating, cold sweating, trembling, and behaving really hysterical. I mean, if you have ever seen someone get an anxiety or panic attack, it's really not a nice thing to see and experience. So essentially, it is one of the same, but either way, we could treat you and correct the situation. What you might find, though, with persons with panic attacks. Oh, caller, go ahead.
Yeah, we have a caller. Yeah, caller. Hello. Good afternoon, Dave. Yes, sir. Yeah, good afternoon. Good look, sir.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Is there a correlation between bad governance and sleep disorder? Thank you.
I hear you. Yeah, you don't worry. You don't worry. I can handle myself, man. Well, what I could say is with stress could affect sleep. So whatever you allow to stress you could interfere with your sleep. Let me put it like that. And the thing is, in dealing with stress, there are a number of things that you could have to deal with stress, because stress is something that we always going to have. The only people who don't have stress are those who address this at the cemetery. The only dead people don't have worries. Once you're in the land of the living, you're going to have some sort of stress to deal with, whether it's children, financial, educational, marriage, whatever the case may be, stress. The thing about it is that you have to understand and know how to manage stress. Because you know why? Once peak, once you have high levels of inflammation in your body, you can reach a point where you cannot control what happens to you. So it's better to try and control the stress. Okay, and that applies to anyone out there, especially if it is you're in a job and you work hard. All of us have to work hard and take care of our families, whatever the case may be. The unfortunate thing is sometimes we don't take care of ourselves. So, I often tell people, you go and service your vehicle, you need to go and get your vehicle aligned, the camber, you might go and do an oil change filters, you do your service, whatever the case may be. The question is, when last did you do a service for yourself? And that's essentially what we do at Batson and Associates, Because when you do that blood analysis and that magnetic resonance analysis, regardless of what your belief is as regards to medicine, because I tell people I'm not in the politics of medicine. I'm in the job of getting people better. You're serious, you want to get better? Then you could give me a visit. You want to talk and discuss Western medicine and natural medicine and herbs and tablet and what you. I'm not in that. I don't have time for that nonsense. I'm about helping people get better. And it's just simply the approach where you actually look at integrative medicine, where you look at the body from a holistic perspective, as opposed to looking at it from symptomology. Because whatever symptom you have, whether it's hypertension, look, recently, I know I think Ministry of Health had posted something where they talk about people with hypertension, and a lot of people in Trinidad now have hypertension and don't know they have hypertension. You know how long I telling people that? It must be about 10 years now. Yeah, we have a lot of people in this country walking around with high blood pressure and they don't know they're hypertensive. And you know what's the hurtful thing about it? In some years to come, or in just a matter of time, some months, you are going to start to feel very sick, and then you're going to be rushed to the hospital, and then you're going to find out, you're going to find out? That you have stage 5 kidney disease. That happening to a lot of people now. And the reason for that is because you have high blood pressure and you do not know. A hypertension monitor is not $1 million. Go and invest in a blood pressure monitor, especially if it is you have had a history of hypertension or you are diabetic, and make sure and know your numbers. Because the reason why you test
it could affect your kidneys. It could affect your kidneys having high blood pressure.
Of course, it not could. It does. 99% of the people who are on dialysis machines, they are on dialysis machines because of high blood pressure. Because the thing is, once your pressure is high, hypertension is high pressure in your arteries. So your arteries are the largest blood vessels in the body. There's something known as your renal artery. A renal artery leads to your kidneys. So what happens? You have high pressure coming from a larger pipeline into a smaller pipeline. So imagine you have pressure coming in a pipe that is 10 inches in diameter, and it's moving from that 10 inch into 10 inches, sorry, into diameter, 10 inches in diameter, my apologies, to a pipeline that is 2 inches in diameter. It means the PSI that is coming from that pipeline, that larger blood vessel, into a smaller blood vessels, because of the pressure that is coming, is going to cause the pipeline to do what? Stretch or open. And that is what causes people to end up with things like nephritis and different aspects of the kidney. So that's a warning sign to you. If you are hypertensive, and if you are one of those hypertensive people that you have to be taking 3 and 4 different medications, so you're taking a calcium channel blocker, you're taking a beta blocker, and you also have to take a diuretic, which is something like Lasix or Benadryl. So essentially, to manage your blood pressure, you're using 3, 4, 5. You're in real problems, real problems. You are going to be in trouble. And that's why a lot of the times when you go now to the doctor and you do a creatinine test, you do a bun, or you do a kidney blood function, which will look at creatinine, blood, potassium, that type of thing. And then you do something called a GFR, which is a glomerular filtration rate. That is going to tell you the stage that your kidney at. Most people, when they check, they're already stage 4. And then the doctor is going to tell you dialysis. The good thing at Batson Associates, we do an integrative kidney program, because we have had persons stage 5 kidney and we moved them from stage 5 to stage 2 in a year's time. There was someone we dealt with, they moved from 4 to 3B, and we did that in 6 months. So the thing is, even if your kidneys are damaged, there's hope for you if you do the correct thing. Your diet has to be very specific. But it's not a bad diet. I mean, anybody could follow that diet, in my opinion. But the point is, it gets you to the point where you do not have to do dialysis. Because a wake-up call to most people, dialysis is not fun. Most people die on dialysis machines. Dialysis is not fun. Dialysis is just an end state. I mean, you can imagine you reach a stage where you only could drink 2 ounces of water for the day. Think about that. 2 ounces of water, you are allowed fluid. 8 ounces of fluid for the day. You're going to reach a stage where you're going to have problems with your bowel movement. All dialysis patients eventually reaches a point where they do not urinate again. So you could imagine what's going on with your pipelines inside of there, what's going on with your urethra, what's going on with your bladder, what's going on there. It's gonna be problems. So I'm saying all of that to say an ounce of prevention better than a pound of cure. If you know you are chronic hypertension or hypertensive, check yourself. You can feel free to give us a call or visit. Keep in mind that scan that we do with the blood analysis, the magnetic resonance analysis scan, that telephone number again, you can give us a call on 222-8261. That's 222-8261, and that's to find out about our integrative kidney program, because it works. And we have helped numerous people, because I'm telling you, when you leave it too long, that's it. Dialysis for you. Over to you, this. Any questions?
Yeah, man. Don't people just taking in the information, good information, and prevention is better than
cure.
Somebody mentioned, well, in terms of high blood pressure, if you do find out that you have high blood pressure, what is the best way, or what can you do to help someone with high blood pressure?
We could do a number of things. The thing is, and I had discussed high blood pressure at length at some point in time. The thing is, you have 2 types of hypertension, primary and secondary hypertension. Most people have secondary hypertension, which means that you have high blood pressure because of something else, some other reason. I mean, that applies to all things in the body in general. But most people who may have hormonal imbalance, thyroid is becoming very popular. A lot of people now have thyroid problems. You either have hypothyroidism, which is low thyroid function, hyperthyroidism, which is high thyroid function. There's also something known as disorders. So we realize now a lot of people having thyroid problems. Now, your thyroid is part of your endocrine system, which is your glands. So your thyroid, parathyroid, pituitary, adrenal, and the list goes on. The thing is, once you have endocrine problems, you are going to have hormonal problems. And that's why you find a lot of persons have stress also plays a significant role. That's why I said what I said when the gentleman made the interesting call that he made there, where I tell persons that if it is stress, because they realize it now, some years ago, we used to see only women with thyroid problems. Now, a lot of men have problems with the thyroid. So thyroid is not only iodine deficiency, magnesium deficiency, certain macro, micro nutrients deficiency. It also links to serious stress. And that stress now, with the elevated cortisol level, is causing problems with your thyroid. So it's very important to know yourself, check yourself. Blood tests are always valuable. I mean, if you do a TSH, which is thyroid stimulating hormone, or you do T3, T4, we could do some work with that. However, we always like the live blood analysis. And the reason for that blood analysis is that we get an in-depth view of the blood, but we also get an in-depth view as to your intestines. A lot of people, you do not digest your food properly, you do not assimilate your food properly, and most importantly, you do not evacuate waste properly. So the thing is, you could be getting a bowel movement daily, you could be getting 3 bowel movements for the day, and you still have impacted fecal matter in you. I've seen it on numerous occasions. So the question is now, how are you feeling? You're having headaches? Is it that you're having problems falling asleep? Is it that you're having problems with your heart racing off? You must know. So if something is wrong, because your body does speak to you, Anybody you see who get heart attack, they didn't get heart attack just so they get heart attacks before. They just didn't know how to look for it. Same thing with strokes. So when you're seeing certain things going on with you, excess dizziness, memory problems, all of a sudden you have blurred vision. You're going to the doctor, you test your eyes, they tell you have glaucoma. What is glaucoma? Glaucoma is high ocular pressure in your eyes. You have 2 types of glaucoma. You have closed angle glaucoma and you have open angle glaucoma. But the thing with glaucoma, a lot of people don't know with glaucoma, is not your eyes alone. Most glaucoma sufferers are dehydrated people. So comes into discussion again what? Water. They don't drink water. So again, to fix the problem, what got you in that situation in the first place? We have to deal with the root cause of the problem. And that's where the blood analysis and the magnetic resonance analysis comes in. So again, quickly feel free to give us a call or visit that telephone number again and location. We are located on the first floor of Money Talks building. That is Money Talks building in Montrose, Chaguanas. That number for Chaguanas is 222-8261. That's 222-8261. Debe is the corner of Ramsey Trace and the SS Erin Main Road in Debe. That telephone number for Debe is 223-7515. That's 223-7515. St. James is Red Edge Mall, Western Main Road, St. James. The number for St. James is 220-8113. That's 220-8113. And Tobago is, of course, the Triangle Building in Scarborough, Tobago. That number for Tobago is 226-4553. 226-4553. Third base? Yeah. Any questions? Yeah, man.
Questions. Yeah, no questions thus far. Just people taking any information.
Okay,
good. You have to repeat your number again to contact you.
Okay, good. So Chaguanas, the thing is, once you get the Chaguanas office number, you're saved in the sense that you'll get the numbers for all the other offices, right? So for sake of, efficiency, Chaguanas is 222-8261. That's 222-8261. And WhatsApp for that office is 314. That's 314-9975. Again, that's 314-9975 or 222-8261. Okay.
Somebody was asking about your alkaline water there. Is it available in stores or only from your...
Only from our offices at Batson Associates at the moment and on delivery for now. Okay, so you could always get that to you. Let me say a pleasant good afternoon. Keep in mind, we are live on our social media platforms. We have Batson and Associates Limited on Facebook. Let me say a pleasant good afternoon to Miss Grace Williams, Mr. Ian Newton. Good evening to you as well. Miss Regina Murray says good afternoon, Dr. Batson. Miss Marva De Freitas, good afternoon to you. Again, keep in mind that we are also live on our Instagram. On Instagram, we are Batson and Associates TT on Instagram. On YouTube, it's Batson and Associates Trinidad. And on TikTok, it's Dr. Batson. So feel free to check us out there, like us, share us, follow us. I also have a question here. Someone is asking about the eye drop. Does the eye drop you have help with cataracts? The answer is yes. The thing is, just this morning, in fact, I was speaking about cataracts. Cataracts are primarily mineral buildup on the lens of the eye. So the thing is, toxins actually enter the body via your eyes. Toxins enter the body in three ways. Respiratory wise, so that's through inhalation, nasal, ocularly, which is through your eyes, and dermally, which is through your skin. Right? The thing is, if you work in specific type of industries, it is very important that you take care of your eye. So, i.e., we're speaking about people who work in oil and gas. If you handle dangerous chemicals, you work as a mechanic, you do auto body work, you're a painter, welder, you deal with jewelry. Jewelers actually deal with very, very serious chemicals, things like cyanide and that type of thing. So you have to be very careful with those chemicals, and they could actually enter the body via the eyes. What the eye drop that we carry, which is eye optics formula, does, it actually helps to detoxify the eyes themselves. And that is very important because what it does is remove waste from the eyes, but it also helps with circulation. Most people who have problems with their eyes, you actually have a problem with cerebral circulation, which is circulation in the brain. So it's very important to maintain healthy blood circulation in the cerebral hemisphere. How do you know you have poor cerebral circulation? Headaches, regardless of your headache. And don't let anybody fool you and tell you that you have migraine headaches and you have cluster headaches and you just have a problem with headaches. Headaches is an indication that something is seriously wrong. Most of the time it is dehydration, but in a lot of instances it could be indications of early signs of strokes. You could have had mini strokes, which are known as TIAs, which is an acronym for transient ischemic attacks. If you're having problems with your memory, short-term memory especially, not long-term. Very rare you'll forget where you went to school, the house you grew up, neighbors, that type of thing. That's long-term. But short-term memory, for example, what you went in the house for, where you put down your keys, you're starting to take things that's supposed to go in the fridge and put it in the cupboard, and vice versa. You're putting things that's supposed to be in the cupboard in the fridge. That's clear signs that you're starting to get some early signs of things like vascular dementia, Alzheimer's. I think sometimes the issue with Western medicine sometimes is that they wait too long to tell people what is wrong with them. And that's the advantage with integrative medicine, is a matter of knowing, and an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. So if you could know what is the condition of your health now as regards to your prostate or your kidney, and you could realize, okay, I'm seeing some early signs of prostate problem, then obviously we should deal with it. You're not going to wait. All kidney stones was small at a time, If you ever pass out a kidney stone or know somebody who had a kidney stone or a gallstone or a fibroid, all those things were small before they got bigger. So the point is, things get... Okay, go ahead. Yes, sir.
Yeah, look, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dr. Batson.
Good afternoon, sir.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I have been to a naturopath doctor, I think you call it, for the last 35 years.
Right.
To the statement that I have analyzed, I don't need to see you when you are sick. I need to see you when you are well.
True.
You well.
Exactly. Yeah. I agree. I totally agree with you, sir.
Running, you've been show and it was yellow and red. A doctor who was trying to keep the country healthy, you're not hearing people calling.
Mm-hmm.
I will wait on your response. Thank you.
All right. Third base, just help me out here. The last part I didn't hear.
You say something about yellow and red. I think there's another doctor program,
right,
where a lot of people call, and then he's saying, well, you hardly get any calls.
Oh, okay. Well, I think maybe people just listening to the information. But what I would say, you made a very valid point. And I mean, regardless of your stage of health, we could help you. My training is natural and integrated medicine. I have a strong understanding of anatomy and physiology. I could understand any blood test you bring for me, any CT scan, any MRI. I mean, but the point I'm making is that the thing is, you have different levels of sickness. Trinidad and Tobago currently is one of the sickest countries in the world. As regards to diabetes, especially adolescent obesity, adolescent diabetes. So my point is we didn't get there, walking around the savannah and eating salad. And to the people who really realize that there's an issue, especially with themselves, because you at the end of the day are responsible for your health, not your doctor. People don't know that. Your doctor is just there to guide you, but you are primarily responsible for what you do on a daily basis as regards to whether you are healthier or you actually stacking the odds in your favor to be more healthy as opposed to being more unhealthy, because you can do that. Because I have seen persons daily actually do things to themselves that actually made them more sick, and they didn't realize they were doing it. Some people actually ignorant to the fact, and some people just don't care. So, it's a matter of understanding for yourself, regardless of the level of health that you enjoy. Because the thing is, health is something that people don't really pay attention to unless it is taken from them. And the unfortunate thing too, it doesn't even have to do with being affluent, because people are of the belief that if it is they have money, well, I could do what I want and then the doctor's going to help me. No, it don't work so. Your body follows specific rules, and there's a point in time where if you flout those rules long enough, you can reach a point where you cannot get help. And that's something that a lot of people do pay attention to. So know your numbers. If you are hypertensive, get a machine and check that pressure every day at a particular time and write it down. The same applies to your blood sugar. You are diabetic. You have been diagnosed as a diabetic. You are pre-diabetic. You think you're in between diabetes, whatever the case may be. Get a proper blood sugar machine and test your blood sugar. What that is going to do is when you come to someone like me, you have a record. And based on the record, we could now help you. Blood sugar and pressure are two things that you must have some history in knowing how to treat it and to treat it effectively. If you do not have that, your doctor cannot help you. A good doctor, that is. So keep that in mind.
Two questions here.
Yes, sir.
What do you have for digestion post removal of the gallbladder?
Yeah, well, once you remove gallbladder, you have digestive problems to deal with. So there's a product we carry called Digestive Restore, which helps with bringing back some balance to the digestive system. There's also a tea we carry called gastrointestinal tea. There's something we carry called Digestive Balance, which is prebiotic, probiotics, but that we don't have in stock right now. You'll get that next week, please God. But we carry a lot of things for digestion. And in a case where your gallbladder has been removed, they would have to have some assistance, especially in dealing with fats and oils, because now that the gallbladder is removed, you're going to have some challenges there in dealing with that. What was the next question?
We do have a WhatsApp message here. Let me play it.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, doctor. I was diagnosed with glaucoma, and the doctor told me that 99% of the nerves at the back of my eye have been damaged to the point where they can't be repaired. I would like to know if there's anything that can be done to rejuvenate these nerves to bring back a little eyesight.
Okay, a quick answer. The thing is, if you have been deemed by an ophthalmologist that you are clinically blind, then I would not make any kind of promise as regards to that. If that is in fact not the case, and you have done like OCT scans, field tests, the doctors look in the back of the eye, you may have some inflammation, possibility exists, then we might be able to give some help. But I would have to get all the information before I give you a proper answer there. So feel free to give us a call or visit. Again, that telephone number and location. We are located on the first floor of Money Talks building. That is Money Talks building in Montrose, Shogunas. That telephone number is 222-8261. That's 222-8261. Debe is the corner of Ramsey Trace and the SS Erin Main Road in Debe. That telephone number for Debe is 223-7515. You have been listening to Dr. Jason Batson, the Senior Medical Director at Batson and Associates, where we support your health naturally. As we always say at Batson and Associates, if you think health is expensive, try sickness. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. To the listeners of Freedom 106.5 FM, thank you very much for your time, and do enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe, reach home safely. And till base, always a pleasure. Till next week, man. You enjoy the rest of your day, boss.
All right, enjoy the rest of your day. Of course, folks, if you're listening to Batson and Associates, right here on Freedom 106.5.
Ladies, are you experiencing abnormal hormonal function leading to irregular, painful periods, or even reduced fertility? You don't have to live with these conditions and
Good. So my social media family, Miss Jacqueline Tyson, always a pleasure to have you. She says, pleasant afternoon to Dr. Batson and team. Miss Janice Hampton, Fiola Rodder, Kathleen Ishmael, my dear, always a pleasure. Dear Anne Harridan, Dulcita Roberts, Miss Nicola Hurd, Miss Grace Williams, Nicola Hurd says, what are your thoughts on wearing copper bracelets and drinking from copper cups? Love it. Copper is a very good detoxifier for the body and that type of thing. Miss Kathleen Ishmael, Regina Murray, pleasant good afternoon to you. Grace Williams, great. Weight loss is my biggest concern and my slow metabolism. I need more help. I'm interested in your weight loss program. Good, no problem. Ian Newton, hi, Dr. Batson's blessing from Point Fortin. My mom are always locked on. Nice hearing you on Isaac 98.1. Love Miss Roma from DB. Hard worker. Keep up the good work. I have to pay you a visit also. Thank you so very much. Regina Murray says, we welcome you to Isaac 98.1. So you all know that by now, right? I'm on Isaac the Promise. So that's something to look forward to. Miss Marva the Freitas. Yes, my dear. Pleasant good afternoon to you. So guys, Miss Regina Omari, she says the machine can store numbers of your reading, Dr. Batson. Yes, definitely. Miss Cindy Fagan, hi, Doc, is 88 sugar low? That's not bad. You don't want it to go under 85, though. Like all 88, 90 is good. Okay, guys, so I have a next program shortly with DJ Mamu. So I'll be joining DJ Mamu on djmamuradio.tt.com in a little bit. So I look forward to seeing you guys there. So see you in a bit. Take care. Bye-bye.